Design speak brings its own set of jargon challenges, especially if you're not a designer yourself. So, who better to guide you through the language of graphic design than a graphic designer? We've gathered some common design terms to help you communicate more smoothly with your coworkers. Across 3 videos, we will cover various design terms in 3 major topics: color modes, vector and raster graphics, and image file types. Part 1. Color modes. Color helps us define a brand identity, and the right colors can even provide an emotional connection to your customer. Understanding the differences among color modes is important. Here are 3 you should know. Each color mode is unique and provides a slight variation. CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. Their color codes range from 0 to 100 and are a combination of numbers and letters. For example, one of the colors in our logo is jade, which is C90, M99, Y0, and K8. CMYK color mode is best used for printed assets and tends to be more cost-effective. RGB stands for red, green, and blue. The color modes in RGB range from 0 to 255. Jade in RGB is R0, G151, and B117. RGB color mode is best used for web or digital assets. But be aware that some print shops might ask you to convert your colors from RGB to CMYK. Pantone has become the universal language of color. It is best used for brand consistency and merchandise. Using Pantone colors guarantees a match across materials, regardless of the printer or print vendor being used. Now that you've learned a little about different color modes, you'll be able to more clearly communicate what you need. Part 2. Vector versus raster. Vector files use mathematical calculations to create lines and shapes. They are the better choice for logos, graphics, signage, or other images that need a range of size options. A vector file can be used on a business card or scaled all the way up to a highway billboard without losing quality. Vector files allow you to export into a variety of file formats, from AI to EPS, SVG, or even PDF. Let's talk about all those selfies you've taken. Photos are raster files. Raster images are set to display at a specific resolution and are made up of tiny pixels, measured in pixels per inch, PPI, or dots per inch, DPI. An important thing to remember about raster images is that they won't scale beyond 100% without losing quality, but you can size them down. Best practices for raster files are 72 dpi for web-based and 300 dpi for printing. Raster files are typically PNG, JPEG, and GIF. Optimize them for their intended location. This will keep them looking crisp and not blurry. To sum up, use vector graphics when you need flexibility in your logo size. Raster files are better for photographs, but resizing can reduce the image quality. Now that you've learned a little about different vector and raster files, you'll be able to more clearly communicate what you need. Part 3. Image file types. Graphics come in many different formats. These 9 file types are probably the most common ones you will come across. JPEGs are best for photos uploaded to social media. This is due to the lossy compression method JPEG uses to trade quality for a reduced file size. GIFs are bitmap files that support animation. They have a limited palette of 256 colors and are most used on the web. SVGs are vector images that support animations. These are also commonly used on the web, especially for logos because they can easily scale and stay crisp looking. EPSs are vector files that are close to self-contained and can easily be placed into other documents. These are good files for logos, graphics, and event signage. PNGs are raster files with compressed data. These work well with a transparent background and for social media. In this case, AI stands for Adobe Illustrator. It is a vector file good for graphics, logos, infographics, icons, and more. You can export a variety of other files from this native file, including EPS and SVG. A PSD is a Photoshop image created by Adobe to help retouch, remove objects, and make other edits to photography. You can export other files like JPEG and PNG. Adobe InDesign uses INDD files to design layouts. You can also export interactive PDFs that can make a long document a little more exciting. Portable Document Format, or PDF, is a file type originally created for Adobe Acrobat. It allows you to digitally display documents, prepare forms, pre-press check, and even mark changes. We use this for our client proofs because it's an easy way to share layouts with clients and receive feedback. There are more file types we could discuss, but now that you've learned a little about different file types, you'll be able to more clearly communicate what you need.